Welcome to Pimpy's Investment Chat, where we keep investment talk simple. And here's your host, Pimpy.
What is going on out there, peeps? Okay, there seems to be some confusion, and I can only guess where it's coming from, about what exactly the Executive Order 13303 is. In addition to that, I do want to respond to a lot of the comments you had underneath another video, because I appreciate you guys being involved, because this is how everybody learns, okay? So let's go ahead and get into this. Before we get started, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button. If you're not a subscriber, please do so, because when you do, it helps out the channel, and I certainly do appreciate it. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and respond to the comments on this particular video that I did not that long ago. Let's go ahead and get into this. Always enjoy your updates, Pimpy. Thank you. You're very welcome. Kelly says, love your content, brother. I served 3 tours in Iraq, the Kirkuk oil region, and remembered all the dudes buying briefcases of dinar. I didn't participate then, thankfully. I do have some dinar as of last year. Some data points I found out from one of the actual financial individuals contracted by the USA involved at the start of the post-Saddam dinar. Jordan is the second largest holder of the IQD. Largest denomination of the IQD is equivalent to 100 American dollars, in which the UN resolution between countries should be honored if a RV and RI lower denominations may not. I'm in minerals and commodities exploration and extraction industry. My understanding of that data, Iraq has the second largest oil reserves and producer in the Arab region. It's also the center point for pipelines from Saudi Arabia and from Iran to provide oil to Europe through Syria, and we see the power struggle in the past for this positioning. I wholeheartedly agree with you that any gains from the IQD is to be used to benefit humanity and humanitarian projects. Again, thanks for telling the truth with your content. You are very, very welcome. Now, the weird thing is, that's something we have not heard about recently. You know, our friend said, you brought up the humanitarian projects. I said, yeah. He goes, when's the last time you heard any of these content creators talk about how it has to be mandatory, that in order for you to get your money, you have to have these humanitarian projects? And just because it was all bullshit, nobody out there is going to make you have a humanitarian project. What I'm saying is, nobody should have to make you have a humanitarian project. You should want to do it on your own. If God's truly going to bless everybody with millions of dollars, then I say it's not your money. Don't get me wrong. If you got crap you need to take care of it. Take care of you, your family, your loved ones. Make sure everybody's doing good, debt-free. But the other money that's left over, do something to help out humanity. I really believe that. Now, back to this. We're talking about the redenomination and the revaluing of things. I want people to have an understanding of something. So when I talk about the deletion of the zeros, and the zeros come off the banknote, when they delete these zeros off the banknotes and off this rate here, 25 times 0.76 still is 19. People keep saying, well, I don't think this is where the rate's going to be. No, I agree. I don't think that's where the rate's going to be either. It might when we first start, but I don't think it's going to stop there. So remember, and everybody's like, well, remember Al-Sadani said they're going to take us back to the glory days. Remember that? Okay, let's take it back to the glory days. Let's say that Al-Sadani takes us back to the exchange rate, which is $3.22. And is that possible? Yeah, it's very possible. I don't deny that. But if 322 is not going to be times this denomination, it's going to be times this denomination. See what I'm saying? When they had the exchange rate of 322, they didn't have dinars that looked like this with all these zeros. That's not when they had the 322 rate. That's what people fail to realize. They're like, well, come on, we're going to go back to the glory days. They're going to have the 322 rate. Okay, I'll agree with you. But after they delete the zeros, not before, it'll happen here. And I'll take a 322 rate even if they take the zeros off. So that's something I want to make myself clear. When people go, do you think it's going to get to the 322 rate? Yeah, that's very possible. I don't deny that at all. But it's going to be after they remove the zeros. Thanks for sharing. With ongoing digital currency in plan, we don't see why must they change 3 zeros in banknotes. I can't imagine them redenominating and changing their physical banknotes before they release the central bank digital currency. And since they plan on going 100% cashless, although I think there's most likely what's going to happen is you're going to have the physical notes running side by side with the central bank digital currency in the beginning. I'd raise hell over there like they wouldn't believe. I would not want to go to a central bank digital currency. If they go to that 100%, now they control your money. They control everything. It's one thing that the central banks around the world are now in control of monetary policy. They influence it. They're in charge of it. The one thing you don't want them to have control of, because then it's over, is fiscal policy. That's a no-no. Give to charity first, then roll remainder into silver and XRP. Well, like half that. I'm a huge supporter of silver. I'd be happy if the dinar was worth 1 American cent, but that will never happen. But I think it'll be at the 76 cents before it's 1 cent. Because if they're going to delete the zeros, we're going to have it at 76 cents. So it's not going to be 1 cent. It'll be worth more than that. At least 76 cents. But that's after they remove the zeros. It's about U.S. bigger picture for Iraq and why 2 million square feet of underground facility in Kurdistan. It might be. America is always looking for ways to achieve commodities around the world. Thanks for the clear info. I bought my dinar in Iraq in 2005 and just received my first Army retirement check. 1/4 of it goes to silver. Oh, hey, Randy, if you can afford that, that's an awesome investment plan. I promise you, my friend, later on down the line, those who have gold and silver will be out of the system. You'll be able to protect you and your family a lot better than those who are going to be suffering. Once it's 100% digital, then they have both monetary policy and fiscal policy, and I don't mean physical, but fiscal policy. Control of that, that's it. It's over. You can never grab it back. So those who have money outside of the system, even if you piss them off, the government closed down your money in your account, you at least have a way to survive, and that is with your fiscal gold and silver. Pimpy, long time no see. Where were you? Did you have a meeting with the Prime Minister Sudani about the money? Where have I been? I've been right here. Sorry. But I would take some breaks because you get a little burnt out. It's just tired of repeating myself, and people want to challenge me all the time. I don't mind answering the questions. Is it taking all challengers? But, after a while it gets burnt out. But I keep on going because there's just too many idiots in the dinar community trying to scam people, and it's really sad to see. Thank you for the show, but make sure the citizens of Iraq agreed with the rate because Saddam want the same rate or more. So come to Dubai, we could barbecue and pit in my backyard. Oh, I'd love to go there. It looks like a beautiful place. You're talking about Dubai? Yeah, that's a beautiful place. I would love to go there, my friend. As far as talking to the Prime Minister, no conversations yet. Somebody called me wine, it looks like. Good job, Pimpy. Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, let's see here. Graham says, one thing though, it's the CBI 100% decided. Is it CBI 100% decide where the exchange rate should be? Yes, in Iraq, that is the case. The central bank will determine. Okay, let me make myself clear. If it's a fixed rate, like we're seeing right now, Iraq does that. They make the decision on what the rate is. When they don't have control of the exchange rate is when they go to the free flow. Well, then the market determines what the rate's going to be based on supply and demand. Then that's different. Then Iraq government doesn't control the fixed rate. They don't control the exchange rate. So you're saying any country's central bank can just say they want their currencies worth this much. Well, technically, yeah, they can. I mean, it seems like when a country devalues their currency is okay, but when they want to raise their currency value, it involves global recognition or country need to justify why their currency can be equal to the US dollar, I thought. Well, you could say your currency is worth, $10 American on the exchange rate. That doesn't mean the rest of the world is going to recognize it. So yeah, the central bank can determine it, but it better be reasonable. But the central bank does control whatever the exchange rate is. When it changes, when it goes to a free flow, then that's different. The market decides. And I think what Ninja meant was Iraq was under sanctions to limit its economic growth. The top of the IQD originally paid with US dollars. I'm not sure what part that is, but okay. Well, I can definitely speak for Iraq. The Central Bank of Iraq, they solely determine the fixed amount of the exchange rate. But when it goes to market and it free flows, that's on the market to decide what the exchange rate will be. By the way, China's exchange rate is not that low. 1 won equals to 0.14 US dollars, but Vietnam 1 is equal to 0.00039. China's labor cost is low. Doesn't mean their exchange rate is low. Look at Japan. 1 yuan is equivalent to 0.0069, even lower than China's. It doesn't mean their exports is going to do better than China, as their labor costs are way higher, same as overall costs. It's not just about the exchange rate. It's part of it, but there's more than that. Forget all the labor camps. Forget the fact that they force their prisoners to work for free on manufacturing. But the average salary for a Chinese worker in manufacturing is 97,500 yuan per year. That comes out to what? Just about 13,000 US dollars? 13,000 US dollars. Where in America, the average salary is 52,000. So there's a huge difference in pay. So if you take this exchange rate in consideration, when it comes to people like China and Vietnam, they have a much cheaper labor force to deal with. That's why people take all their stuff overseas. Thanks, Pimpy. You're very welcome. Numera and shit. Okay, gotcha. Why would you redeem gold-backed currency for fiat to be taxed for most of your profits? I would not exchange gold-backed currency for fiat. I don't know who came up with that idea, but I certainly wouldn't do that. I appreciate you chiming in. Nice job, Pimpy. I got stocks with Wise Group and Whirlwind Group on the ISX with George and Andy. Yeah, same here. They're nice guys. I also have 500,000 XRP and other cryptocurrencies, and I am making a nice return. Good, Dad. I love to hear that. That's really good. Good move. Diversify is what you're doing. But I don't see that you're investing in any gold and silver. That makes me worry. I have a few saved drawers full of Monopoly money, hoping for dreamlike returns, and many other investments, some of which have okay returns. The ISX I think is going to be a really good one for people who are invested in Iraq. I think you can't go wrong there unless Iraq does something stupid, and I hope they don't, but they do something stupid to get themselves back in trouble. So as long as they're on the right track like they're doing, I think you're going to see a lot of returns with the ISX. And diversify a little more, I would start investing into gold and silver, physical gold and silver, not paper gold and silver. Thank you so much for an amazing video. A bit off topic. I don't know who these people are, but you guys ask me the same thing all the time about this. I can't help you with that. I don't know why I still laugh. That shit makes me laugh. The Ninja guy is a scam artist in everything he does. Economic Ninja, I mean, I've seen him before. I met him before briefly. He appears like a nice guy, and he talks very sincerely. I'm a big fan of his faith. Other than that, I don't know a whole lot about him. I firmly disagree with your comment. I've been following him for 6 to 7 months now, learning a lot about crypto, gold, silver, real estate. I've taken his advice and made money. The only way you don't is don't listen. So do things your own way, and the thousands that listen will be blessed financially so we can bless others. Yeah, I met Economic Ninja a while back, and he seems like a very nice guy. I'm a big fan of his faith, and so far anything that I've heard him talk about, for the most part, I agree with. So yeah, I guess to each his own, if you like him or don't like him, to each his own. This guy's a clown? Sometimes. That's my part-time job, okay? Appreciate you chiming in. The Ninja gives bad advice. Oh, well, there's another person who doesn't like Economic Ninja. You just refuse to listen and learn. We're moving into commodities, sister, instead of feet, and Iraq have oil more than most to back its currency. Just because Iraq has a lot of money doesn't make their currency valuable. There's more factors involved, and a lot of people are not being taught those things. That's why on my channel, you'll see that I actually am a guru, a person who teaches. So this Executive Order 13303, let's get into this, okay? Let's all turn to the genius in the dinar community about her input on what the 13303 is.
So there was a video on YouTube talking about Executive Order 13303. If you criticize me, you'll be gone. I just don't like that shit anymore. I'm on the offense. Yes, I can explain the deleting of the zeros.
No, she can't.
Good question.
No, it's not a good question.
Guys, I'm going to try to be as concise and clear as possible. What do you want to hear first? The executive order that Trump extended about the 13303, which I know all about.
No, she don't.
Again, when you have fear, you come here. And God is good, because right after my live stream, I was getting my Intel summary done. I was getting ready to do my Intel summary because there were so many articles, guys. It's really hard to summarize. So you just have to go to my live. I'm only going to go through the detail article once, and unless it's, I don't know. I do my best every day. So, anyways, yes, I'm confused about the 13303. Yes, executive. Okay, let's talk about that one first. Forgive me for my slurping. It's my channel.
She's a pig.
I was raised by a single mom. I wasn't raised by anybody with a lot of manners.
Is she saying that single moms are pigs? Is that what she's saying? She's saying the reason why she's a pig is because she was raised by a single mother? Sounds like she's insulting all single mothers.
Okay, let me get what I have to do is get my computer so I can read it to you, because I did the research.
No, she didn't.
So, Executive 13303.
You can put as much lipstick on a pig as you want, but it's not going to make her a lady.
It was an executive order not because there's sanctions on Iraq. It was to protect Iraq and their assets because the U.S. destroyed them.
To protect their assets because the U.S. destroyed them? Well, if the U.S. destroyed them, they wouldn't have assets. So what are you saying?
It was to protect the U.S.'s investment in Iraq. Put it that way. Doesn't that sound like the U.S.? They're protecting their investment. So he probably extended it just to protect their investment until it can flip and revalue. You do know the U.S. government holds 35 billion Iraqi dinar.
No, the government does not hold 35 billion Iraqi dinar. Once again, this is a lie. Listen to what Trump is saying. He's talking about if we leave Iraq or Iraq makes us leave, we built all kinds of embassies, airports, all kinds of real expensive stuff. Shouldn't Iraq pay us back? But listen to what Trump says.
Airport facilities anywhere in the world. I mean, I wish we had it in New York. I wish we had it in Washington. We build runways that are 15,000 feet long. At LaGuardia, they're 7,000 feet long. In fact, I think they're 20,000 feet long over there, and deep, thick concrete and steel. Nobody ever built runways like this. Okay, it was way overbuilt, but that's okay. But we have billions of dollars into that. I said, if we leave, you got to pay us. If we leave, you have to pay us for embassies. You have to pay us for the money we put in.
How are you going to collect?
Well, we have a lot of their money right now. We have a lot of their money. We have $35 billion of their money right now sitting in an account.
See, Trump is saying we have their money right now. $35 billion of their money. He didn't say the Iraqi dinar. He said of their money. And what he's talking about is when Iraq sells oil, the money doesn't go to Iraq. It comes to us and we put it in this account. That's the money he's talking about. We have $35 billion of their money, not the Iraqi dinar. He didn't say we're invested in the Iraqi dinar. He didn't say we bought 35 billion of their dinars. He didn't say anything like that. I don't know why people use that video as a way to prove that we have 35 billion Iraqi dinars. We don't. $35 billion of their money, not Iraqi dinars, of their money. The oil is sold in US dollars. We have $35 billion of their money, not we're investing in the Iraqi dinar. So again, she doesn't read, she doesn't do the research, she has no idea what she's talking about.
He is continuing the order so you can invest as private citizens and protect it. Yes, exactly. In fact, that's the order that allowed us to invest as private citizens, is it not, Jack?
So 13303, yes, it does say we have the right to invest in Iraq and we're protected under Executive Order 13303. When they're talking about investing into Iraq, they're talking about investing in the ISX, the Iraqi Stock Exchange, businesses over there, starting a business over there, things like that. Everybody for some reason says it means we're allowed to invest in a currency. Sure, if you want to invest in a currency, that's fine. But it's not specifically about the currency. It means we have the right to invest into Iraq.
See, they probably know about it more than I do, since they literally work for the federal government as a branch of the army. Just saying. I don't. I'm just saying I read those executive orders under Trump, and then I went back and read Obama's because I wanted to see, God told me to vote. I prayed and God told me to vote for Trump, but I read the executive orders just to see what was going on. And Trump's executive orders were very clear. Obama's you could just tell he's a BS artist. I could tell it by reading his executive orders.
She's not reading the executive orders. So Executive Order 13303, she's right, started with Bush, and it was to protect the assets of Iraq, specifically their development fund. They didn't want anybody suing them and taking the money out and not allowing Iraq to rebuild. There are a lot of other assets out there, including properties, that they were protecting at the same time. And yeah, most likely it's going to be something that America's invested into. They didn't want anybody screwing with it. But there's a rumor going around that they're talking specifically about the Iraqi dinar, and they're not. That's not what the 13303 is. And all Trump did was continue the protection of their development fund. And I'm sure any president after that is going to continue to do that until Iraq has found a way to settle with all their creditors.
Here we are. Hold on. I have to make sure I can read the chat. So I did the research, like I said, before I got on here. I'm like, oh, this is perfect. We're going live tonight. So listen to this. It says Executive Order 13303, signed by President George W. Bush on May 22nd of 2003, declared a national emergency to protect the development fund for Iraq and other Iraqi property from attachment or judicial process. It was intended to implement UN Security Council Resolution 1483, which lifted sanctions against Iraq and created the development fund. The order also protected Iraq petroleum and petroleum products and their related proceeds. The purpose was to protect the development fund for Iraq and other Iraqi property from being seized or attached by creditors while they're being destroyed. You know, I'm just saying.
Does that make sense? We're going to protect their assets while we destroy them. Does that make sense to you guys? Seriously.
So in order to secure the U.S.'s investment in $35 billion currency of Iraq,
no investment. Trump didn't say we have $35 billion invested in Iraq. This is the oil sales. Whenever they sold oil, they sold it in American dollars. The money went to the United States. They have an account set up for them. And then they allocate that money out of that account for Iraq as they need it. Like when they create a budget, we give them the money that's in the budget and other miscellaneous things. He didn't say we're invested in 35 billion dinars or we're invested in 35 billion US dollars worth of dinars. Never said that.
Sanctioned it and bombed the crap out of them and continue to for years. They issued this order to keep anybody else from seizing the assets, right? Because they knew they were going to let it be revalued at some point, right?
Sounds like a person with a coke habit. Revalue their assets. What assets are they going to revalue? So what is she talking about?
The same currency the same year that the new currency was printed that didn't have Saddam Hussein's picture. They got rid of Saddam Hussein, right? So guys, honestly, these are games at the highest level. If you just step back and look at it, I'm having fun, right? Because I can figure this. Guys, you ask me anything, I can figure it out.
No, she can't. Good Lord, man. She definitely sounds like she's got the drips. But no, she can't figure it out. She's been wrong on almost everything she spoke about. Outside of regurgitating what she reads, and regurgitating news, everything else she has not figured out. Everything else that she tried to figure out, she's been wrong. She's been wrong about the deletion of the zeros. She's been wrong about the 13303 and what it means. I mean, I could literally do this all day and slam dunk on Melanie. You guys keep sending me these videos, I keep telling you, don't waste your time, okay? I'm just warning you guys because a lot of you people are sending money to her and you shouldn't be doing that. She's claiming that she has all these strategies. She don't have some strategies. These are strategies that she copied and pasted off of other people's strategies and made them her own. How the hell she has not been busted by the FEC yet is a surprise to me, but I'm sure that's coming real soon. Anyways, that's it for now. I hope this clears up what 13303 is and I answer some of your questions and comments, and I look forward to hearing from you again. That's it for now. I'm out.